So, welcome everyone to IACAET's Body, Mind, Spirit of Self-Care series, Part 7, Cultivating Self-Compassion Through Focusing Oriented Expressive Arts for Self-Care, with Dr. Laury Rappaport, founder and director of the Focusing and Expressive Arts Institute. My name is Phil Spicer, IACAET Events Chair and Board Member. IACAET, International Association for Creative Arts in Education and Therapy. We promote dialogue and exchange between all of the arts and as many associations that we can connect with, crossing the globe, east-west, north-south. We tend to highlight innovation and collaboration between all of our creative arts friends and colleagues, artists, therapists, educators, scientists, health and community workers, and more. Without any further ado, it's my pleasure now to present Dr. Laury Rappaport, Director and founder of the Focusing and Expressive Arts Institute in California, and a certifying coordinator, focusing oriented therapist and trainer with the International Focusing Institute. For those of you not familiar with focusing and the work of Eugene Gendlin, pioneering founder, psychologist, and philosopher, this is a fantastic orientation to his work and the way Laury has incorporated the arts into focusing oriented therapy and care, self-care. So, Laury is the author of a few very important books, Mindfulness and the Arts Therapies, Theory and Practice, and then also a groundbreaking book, Focusing Oriented Art Therapy, Accessing the Body's Wisdom and Creative Intelligence. I'm not kidding when I say this, an absolute must and really important way to integrate into any type of therapeutic practice, any orientation, any theory. This has value for that. She's been on the faculty of the Expressive Therapies Division at Lesley University in Cambridge for over 40 years, also served as associate professor at Notre Dame de Namur University, and has taught worldwide, globally, at many universities and institutes. She's a licensed marriage therapist and family therapist, registered expressive arts therapist, board certified art therapist, and certified in coordinator and trainer of Focusing International Institute. And perhaps above all, a dear friend and colleague that I've known for over 30 years. Please welcome Laury Rappaport. Take it away, Laury.
Oh. Thank you for that amazing introduction, Philip, and welcome to all of you. I'm so happy and so thrilled to share this time with you for our self-care. So I am going to share my screen because in focusing oriented expressive arts, there's 6 levels of training. So we have like even less than an hour. So I want you to have, like Philip said, a full experience. So let me share with you. So you can all see that, right? Okay. Let me tell you what we're going to do together. I'm going to give you a brief overview of, we call it FOAT, Focusing Oriented Expressive Arts, which is expressive arts or focusing oriented art therapy. It's all the same, FOAT, and focusing. Then I want to explain the core concepts in focusing, which are the focusing attitude, the felt sense, and what's known as a symbol, or Gene Gendlin called it a handle. And then the connection between the focusing attitude, which is a core concept of focusing, with self-compassion. And we'll do 2 experiential exercises and have a little bit of closure and carrying forward. So what is focusing oriented expressive arts? Like Philip said, focusing oriented expressive arts integrates Eugene Gendlin's Focusing with Expressive Arts, and that's a picture of Eugene Genlin, and those are his two foundational books, Focusing, which came out of, I'm going to tell you, research in the 1960s, and his book, Focusing Oriented Psychotherapy. So I discovered Gene Genlin in 1977 when I was a graduate student at Lesley University. It was Lesley College at the time. And when I learned Gene's work in focusing, I just felt like, oh my goodness, this totally just fits like a glove, like the hands coming together, focusing with the expressive arts. So I'm going to share with you today with a particular focus on self-compassion and self-care. So I made up this approach. I tried it out with adults, children, teens, couples, families, people with trauma, depression, anxiety, chronic illness. I tried it out in all those populations for over 30 years, and that culminated in the book, Focusing Oriented Art Therapy, in which a whole theory and practice and principles came to me. So that's what that book is. But like Philip said, I've been teaching at Lesley since 1980, so it's that long that so it's over 40 years of trying out this approach. And the applications are to psychotherapy, arts therapies, coaching, wellness, spirituality, education, self-care. So wherever there's human beings, this approach can be used as long as we adapt it for the specific application. So to learn about what focusing oriented expressive arts is and to get a taste of it, it's helpful to understand what is this focusing. And so I want to just I'm going to go over what focusing is and then do a little focusing exercise. So focusing essentially is a process of bringing mindful awareness into the body. And with a friendly, we call it friendly, or welcoming attitude towards our inner experience, whether it's happiness or pain, fear, excitement. So it's not just focusing on issues or problems. It's everything in life, all of our whole total experience. Like right now you're having an experience and we could focus on that. So that's what essentially focusing is. And focusing also, which you will discover and hear a little bit about, accesses our inner knowing. So I have this picture up there because that was actually a client's drawing of a focusing experience. And you can just see in that drawing that there's this way the person was noticing what was happening inside the body about certain things. So I just love it to kind of capture that the body is important. Okay. Focusing essentially grew out of research that Eugene Genlin did with Carl Rogers in the 1960s. They were the first psychologists to actually do actual audio transcriptions, recordings and transcriptions of client therapy sessions. And what they were looking at what helps psychotherapy be effective. And they found that the results were that it didn't matter what theory, it didn't matter if it was psychoanalytic or client-centered or any of the other ones. They could tell by listening to how the client spoke, there was something in that made the difference. And those clients were able to talk from this inner place, not just their mind about what was going on, but they could sense when something felt right, and they would try to find the right word or phrase to describe it. So it might be like it was kind of like, it was kind of feeling worried. I wasn't really worried. I was so anxious. Oh my goodness, so anxious. And that somehow felt more right. So Genlin called this attending to the body, getting that sense. He called it the felt sense. And he said, if some clients naturally do this, can't we teach people how to do that? And he developed focusing. And that was his first book, as a way to teach people how to access this inner felt sense. Now, the thing is, in the expressive arts, naturally access this inner felt sense because the body is engaged, right? When you're doing movement, your body is engaged. When you're doing art, your body is engaged. When you're doing music, and all the arts, the body is engaged. So it naturally accesses the felt sense. But understanding and knowing focusing helps to have more specificity about engaging and listening to the body's wisdom. Okay? So we're going to do a little focusing exercise to learn about the focusing part. And I like to say this, that one of the foundational principles in focusing and FOAT is that safety comes first, right? And we do know that from working with others, but I want you to know that safety comes first for you. So if you feel like I don't really want to listen inside to my body, or I got too much going on, or just this is self-care, you can still participate, you can watch, you can listen. So I just invite you to take care of yourself, and in this little workshop, to do what is right for you. That is focusing, listening to your body, your felt sense about what is right. Okay? But if you'd like to try it out, I'm actually going to do a brief exercise focusing on nature. And I chose this topic because nature is something that often nourishes many of us. We enjoy like the sunrise or the sunset, or taking a hike, or sitting by a lake, or going to the beach, or whatever. So what we're going to do is, the way focusing works is I'm going to first invite you to get a sense of become aware of something from nature that you enjoy or love, right? And then from that, I'm going to invite you to notice how that feels in your body when you imagine being in that nature place, right? So you don't have to think about it, but we can just try it out, okay? And then we will have some little brief sharing, either in the chat or... Okay, so, but you've been sitting, and it might be morning, it might be late, so maybe just take a little stretch if you feel like it. Stretch your body. Take some... just for some people it's the afternoon, for some people the evening. For me, it's not too early in the morning, but it's morning. Your head. Okay, and then you can just shake it out. And take some breaths into your body. You can shake your legs out. Sometimes when we sit, we forget about our legs, but you shake your legs out, your feet. And then find a comfortable way of sitting. And as you breathe, just let yourself settle in with your breath as it comes into your body and moves out of your body. And as you breathe, feeling the support of whatever you're sitting on. Noticing the breath as it comes in your body and moves out of your body. Feeling the support of the groundedness of the earth. And your connection with the sky and the heavens and the spirit in life. And as you breathe, I'm just going to invite you to notice something from nature. Something that you enjoy, something that you love, something that nourishes you. And just describe it. Maybe sense the colors of that, something from nature, the energy, the temperature. Just imagine yourself right there, right now. Feel it as if you're with it. You might remember a time you were there, or just imagining it freshly. And then as you sense this something that you enjoy, or something that you love about this nature, we're going to just turn our attention inside to notice how it feels in the body. Just noticing, is it the qualities of energy, or is it like calm or jumpy or energized? Like noticing how it feels in the body. And then just being curious and friendly to whatever is there inside. And as you're keeping company with it, just notice and see, is there a word or a phrase or an image, a gesture or a sound that matches that inner felt sense of how it is inside? It might come as a word, a phrase, an image, gesture, or a sound. And just receive what comes. And you can check it against your body for a sense of rightness. If it's not right, you can let it go and invite a new word, phrase, image, gesture, or sound to come. And you know, if it comes as a gesture and you want to do the gesture, you can feel free. And yeah, so we'll take a minute. If you got a gesture, or if you got a word or a phrase and you'd like to write it down, or an image, but really it's just a minute because of our timing here. But just be aware of being here as you're ready. Take the time that you need. And being aware of being here, connected to each other in this group. And we'll just take a minute to either write or the gesture, or notice how it is. And then you can also feel free to, it would be great in the chat to put, if you got a word, phrase, image, gesture, or sound, or if you can, you know, if you want to put the image, the few words or whatever, you can add that too into the chat. Okay, so we'll just take 1 minute. So I think they're coming, so maybe Philip, I think it'd be nice if you can read
Sure.
some of them as they come.
We'll do a few exhaustions, sound and gesture, the sea, peace and happiness, spiral, watchful flickering calm, lullaby, broken wings, a warm embrace, open joy, perfect balance, an intertwining calm loop, open, soft light, soothing, delicious, musical and lightness, the smell of a bale of straw in the field, in the middle of a lake at sunset in a canoe spinning softly like a compass, leaves moving in the sun. Wow, we have a lot of response here.
Mm-hmm.
Love and relax. I'll just do a few more and then,
Yeah, just a few more would be great.
yeah. Warm sand, getting energy from warm sand. And I'll improvise, mfla sound,
Okay.
image, fish in the sea.
Okay. You can just hear the incredible, the depth, the variety, the beauty, and sense how here's the thing. The main concepts of focusing are just what happened, that we brought the focusing attitude towards being curious and friendly to whatever's there. And then we get the felt sense, which is the body sense. And then there's a handle or a symbol. That's the word, phrase, image, gesture, or sound, right? And so I wonder, and then what happens is what I noticed with the word, phrase, image, gesture, sound is that the felt sense is the doorway to the expressive arts. That a word or phrase becomes a poem or creative writing. The image becomes visual art. The gesture becomes the movement and dance, or the sound can become music or sound exploration. So does anybody want to just say, we have time for just maybe one little share from that experience? Does anybody want to say anything? You can do the you can do the raise the hand feature in the reaction button, or you can just speak up if you'd like. Anybody? Okay, Sue, I don't know how to say your name. Yeah, Sue.
That's okay to say Sue.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm Sue from the Myanmar. So when I feed the first and according to your instruction, the first that I feel is my body is very tired, and during this day, uh, you know, I live in the chaos, and so many bad news is every day and day in our country. And I try what I can. I try more than what I can do. So I know that when I breathe in and breathe out, my body is very tiredness. After that, you remind me to be, rejoice or happiness or something like that. At this time, I remind me of the very first time I joined to the FOAT 2-1 course in D1. At this time, I feel the rejoice and very happiness. So this feeling come back to me, and yeah, I'm so happy. I rejoice again. Another is you know. Uh, Another one is I'm trying to have the to have for the upgrading the resilient power of the people around my community. Uh, at this time I did it, but the problem is that I have the fear come to me because yeah, I live in the unsafe zone, so that's why yeah I do it, but and then Another one is that the fear is going together to me. So yeah, the feeling for today is tiredness and also rejoice happiness and also there's a little bit fear also. Like, yeah,
Right,
thank
right.
you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you.
so, we focused on nature, but when we go into the body, like anything can be there. So Sue noticed, right, that there was this tiredness. And then it also, when you stay with it, something else might come or unfold. And then there was the happiness of connecting with FOAT. And then you stayed with it, and there was fear. So, what the focusing attitude is about being curious and friendly to all of that, right? And so that's really what we can work on to help strengthen that being curious and friendly. So I'm going to share a little bit more about that. Thank you, Sue. And let me go back to share the screen. So I want to talk about the relationship to the focusing attitude and self-compassion. So Eugene Gendlin described the focusing attitude as being curious and friendly to what is there, our felt sense, and being with it and keeping it company, right? So she was keeping company, and then that's what happens in the body is more will come, right? And then Kristen Neff, who's written and researched a lot about self-compassion, says with self-compassion, we give ourselves the same kindness and care we'd give to a good friend. And many of us are helpers, and we give that. And the real learning is how do we also give that inside? And one day when I was about to do a teaching, I had a cup of tea and I got this fortune on my tea bag, which says, be kind to others, but always be compassionate to yourself. But we don't learn how to be compassionate towards ourselves, right? It really takes a lot of intention to bring it inside. So we're going to do another little exercise, but this time take a little more time for the word or phrase can become writing, or if you get an image, we will have a few minutes to express it in art or a movement or sound, okay? So the focusing attitude is really, to me, like a phrase. And what I would like to invite you to do is to find what you need, like to make it personal. Like, what am I needing for my focusing attitude? Like, am I wanting to be kinder to myself, or gentler with myself, or softer? Trying to find what you're wanting to make it personal. So you don't have to think about it, because this is the body's wisdom. The body knows, okay? So I like to stop to share, because I then feel like we're all together in the community. So we're going to do another focusing again. And so take some gentle breaths into your body. And just as you breathe, again, noticing the breath as it comes in your body and moves out of your body. Well, actually, before, I just want to share one thing, a little tip for, sometimes I use these gingerbread figures, and you saw it in the thing. So when we do the exercise, if you want to try using one of these gingerbread figures, you can just draw a gingerbread figure, okay? And then as you breathe, feeling the support of being here together and the groundedness of the earth, just take a moment to become aware of maybe how you usually talk to yourself or treat yourself, because a lot of times we're much nicer to others than to ourselves inside. And then just ask, so how would I like to treat myself to bring more of this focusing attitude or this self-compassion towards myself? Like what kind of what would be a healing or self-care way to create something inside? Maybe it's gentler or softer or kinder or more patient inside, more allowing of all the different things that might be inside. And so just as you breathe, just invite something to come. How I'd like to treat myself to be kinder or more compassionate inside. And just let it come. And then when you're ready, imagine for a moment treating yourself this way. Imagine what it would look like and feel like to bring in more of this kindness or self-compassion, softness, caring presence. And then see if there's something, an image or a word or a phrase, a gesture or a sound that matches that inner felt sense of just how it feels inside when you imagine treating yourself in this way. When you imagine giving yourself this kind of care, the way you give it to others. Maybe it comes as an image or colors or shape, gesture or sound. And just being curious and friendly to whatever comes. It might be different than you imagined. And check it against your body for a sense of rightness. If it's not right, let it go. And invite a new word, phrase, image, gesture, or sound to come. And take however much time as you need. And whenever you're ready, being aware, being here together, you can just create something. And we'll take about 3 minutes. So I know it's short, but you can create something in like 3 minutes. And like I said, if you want to try this figure out, sometimes you can just draw the shape of it. Is interesting, and you might have gotten an image on the inside or a color or a word or phrase, but then as in these next few minutes, just let it unfold. Like it may change, it might become something more, it might open in a new way. So just allow it. Okay, so take like one more minute. Okay. So, how many people actually have some art thing, a visual art thing? If you do, and you want to hold it, you can hold it up if you feel okay about it. Okay, many people, and or a gesture or a sound. Okay, so we're actually going to do a little focusing with it. So we're just going to take another moment so I can show you how to integrate focusing, which we call a pause, just to take a pause. And we're just going to like look at what you did or reflect on what you did, and we're just going to ask inside a question, and we're just going to ask, do you have a message for me? And we'll just listen to see if something answers. Or if you want to write it, you can do that too. So, but we'll just take a pause and ask it, do you have a message for me? And then just listen to the body. Or you can look at the art and ask it, and it might tell you, and you can just write down the answer, whatever comes. And we'll just take another like 30 seconds. I think some people started to write in a chat what they got. So I think like gentle, both arms hugged, gently rocking. So if you would like to put something in the chat, feel free. How about that? If you got a message or you want to put something in there that you received, relax. Dance with me and laugh. Figure out what you need, get it or do it. Take someone with you so you are not alone. They may need to be guided as well. Remember, slow down, says Patty. Salvador, be open to the unexpected. Daniela, ask, be brave. Judith and Jose from Barcelona. Oh, I can't read it. Who can read Spanish? Read somebody. I'd love to hear it in Spanish.
Okay, I can do it.
Oh, great, great.
Ya. Fluye abrazada como el agua, cálida. Déjate llevar suavemente.
Beautiful. Do you want to translate it for us?
Okay, I will try. Okay, let me.
Or
Well, it's something like let you fluid, you say in English, like yeah,
Fluid.
embrace from water,
Embrace from water.
let you take with softness.
Let you take with softness. So see how like
Let
the
you,
gesture,
let you be
Yeah.
taken.
let you be
Let you be
taken.
taken.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great. You can get help from the other people who know Spanish. Yes.
Thank you.
So see how like we can all do this gesture, right? Because you were kind of like this. If we all do the gesture, this is another way we can share together, right? Is through the gesture, right? So to feel like we can feel beyond these little squares and to feel our connection with each other. Beautiful. Okay, I know I have to hurry up. So I love to read some more. Smile. I love pillows spit out feathers in playful joy. So do you hear how beautiful, how it's like poetic already? When the felt sense expresses, it just comes out in an authentic creative expression, whether it's in words, image, right, or the movement. His symbol of infinity, Leona, be like still water and graceful like the heron. Symbol of infinity. See, actually, when we read them one by one, it's already like a group poem, right? Don't try too hard. Tu puedes. You can. I knew that one. I could read that one, Pili. Flow like water. Let it carry you softly. Be lifted, Jenny, and carried. Work without struggle. We are in love with you. The same love you feel when you see us. There is nothing to fear. So beautiful. Now you have a guide, right, for self care. This is a practice to intentionally bring this focusing attitude, yours, into your day moment by moment. So anytime something comes up, you can remember to bring this quality. And as you do that more and more, it strengthens all those the neurotransmitters in the it gets it stronger so that it becomes more automatic. It's easier for that focusing attitude, that self-compassion, to be stronger in you. So let me just share a couple of things that Kristen Neff and Marissa Knox say, that self-compassion. So we focused on nature and then getting what we want to bring in. And I love that she says self-compassion does not avoid pain, but rather embraces it with loving kindness and goodwill, generating a sense of well-being that is rooted in the experience of being human. So it's all of everything that's inside of us. And that's why I actually did this drawing. It was like a certain pain I was carrying. And you can see like I'm like holding it. And that's my focusing attitude, right? That's my self-compassion with the heart. And I wanted to share actual client work where this was a client who was in her late 50s or 60s and was in a very painful divorce. And so just to tell you about, because we only have, less than an hour together, the focusing can also be just brought inside to what's inside of you. How am I right now? And we do this as a self-care practice called the FOAT check-in. So it's something that, I like to start with everybody getting the strength of the focusing attitude and get that strong, and then to be able to like listen inside, to embrace whatever is there. And so she got in touch with a lot of pain, and the hands were not there at first, but her felt sense came as this heart, and it was purple and blue, and she said it was a bruised heart, and said, will it fall apart? And so she just drew that first. And then I had her do what I just had you do, which is to go back inside. And that's using focusing to hear what's inside and to ask I had you ask, is there a message? But you could ask different questions. What does it need? And this is an incredible self-care practice because the body knows. And so then when she went inside and asked what it needs, she got the image of these strong hands, these orange hands and the yellow. And she wrote strong hands holding it together, right? It was holding this heart that was maybe going to fall apart. So this came from inside of her. And that's what I feel is so powerful about focusing oriented expressive arts is it helps to access that inner knowing. And so Jenlyn said, your body knows the direction of healing in life. If you take the time to listen to it, it will give you the steps in the right direction. And FOAT helps to access and externalize the felt sense. It helps it become visible and known and carry forward our embodied creative wisdom. So just to show you too that, you can focus on themes that enhance resilience for self-care. That a lot of times we need that resilient energy of a peaceful place, source of strength, like the nature, a protector, safe place, gratitude, compassion, stress reduction. So all these kind of, resilience energies also are helpful for self-care. And I found this really interesting, that one of the most consistent findings in the research literature is that greater self-compassion is linked to less depression, anxiety, and stress, and the resilience to cope with stressful events. And recently there was research done by focusing people who found by making a regular practice of checking in with your bodily felt sense, you are more likely to experience satisfaction with life and less likely to experience distress and existential anxiety. Thank you so much, everyone. It's so touching, and I feel all of you and have a lot of gratitude. So, we can draw on the strength of each other and carry, each other with us to support our going out into the day, the weeks, the self-care. And you have your images or your words that remind you. Okay, Phil, I'm done. It's hard to stop, but I know I have to.
Wow, thank you, Laury. That was wonderful. Really important tools, and I want to say also thanks for giving us this introduction into Eugene Gendlin, such an incredible pioneer in terms of everything I think I've learned that I use today around mindfulness, around a caring attitude, around embodiment, around being present. Themes that are so important today in our work in terms of growth, education, and health. I really picked up also from the Gene, a real blessing. He was so ahead of his time. But then you come along, Laurie, and take us to that next level of integrating the arts into our bodily felt being and felt sense. So if you haven't read or checked out those books that Laurie's written, they're fabulous, or go to her website and you'll get more materials.